we want to understand leadership, then also know what Toastmaster does in regards to nurturing leadership. So let me start with you as the president of Smart Speaks, right?
Yes.
Toastmasters.
Well, basically, Toastmasters has been around for the last 100 years.
Okay, that's a
Yes,
long
it's a
time.
pretty long time. And
Century.
initially it started, the founder, Ralph Smedley, founded the club on the basis of he wanted young people to communicate well and carry themselves well in society.
Okay.
And born out of that, as I'm pretty sure all of us can understand, the most important aspect of leadership is communication. So naturally that tended to grow from just being a club about speaking well, articulating your ideas, to being people who can transfer that skill into leadership. And that is precisely what we've been doing for the last 100 years. By we, I mean the club, I've not been
You've
around
not
that
been here
long.
for 100 years, clearly. All right, that's quite nice. What about you? What have you or did you do as the president of the Toastmasters Club that you're in charge of? What is your role as the president?
Basically, as a president, you're the face of the club. You're the one who leads from the front. So there's something called an executive committee, what we call the EXCO group. Your EXCO consists of 6 other members who are under the president. So basically, as the president, you lead this group. For example, if as a president, when I was the president of Magnetic Toastmasters Club, my role was to open the club meetings, basically set the voice for the meeting. So if you're sad, if you don't look happy, I bet you your club members will get that from you, and that's the mood you've set for the club for the day. So as the president, you just have to be happy. You need to put your best foot forward for the sake of your members and for the sake of potential new members that you can get for your club. What else do we do did I do as the president? I was in charge of leading from the front. By this I mean there's something called the Pathways program in Toastmasters, where you get access to programs that help you nurture your leadership skills. For example, I'm part of the Presentation Mastery program, where I learn how to handle presentations. You know how you go to work, you're told by your boss, do a presentation. What do you do? As a Toastmaster, those skills are honed into you. You learn them. So such things, they get interpreted into your day-to-day life. And that's basically what, as a president, you put yourself ahead of the club in the best way possible. So doing all your pathways, being competent for your club, knowing what to do as the club, for the club. Basically, that's a brief summary of what a president does.
Yeah, at least we have a good idea of what happens then, what the president does, and we'll get even more into it. But let's understand what leadership is, because before we shut some people off, you know, when they think of a leader, like, I'm not a leader, you know, this is not for me. But who's a leader, really? Let me ask you.
A leader is someone who can communicate his or her vision and transfer that to other people in such a way that they share one common goal. That's one way to put it. And the second way to put it, and which I think is the most important aspect, is leadership is about service, plain and simple. The same way Nicole is talking about, when you are at the forefront of the club, you are a servant of the club. Most people tend to think about leadership in terms of a pyramid, where you're at the top of the pyramid. That's actually false. Leadership is an inverted pyramid, and you are at the bottom. And everybody else is relying on you at the bottom, and you are giving yourself to them. So it's not about you anymore. It starts being about bringing out the greatness in other people. In certain areas where it's easy to lead people to go where they want. But sometimes you have to be the leader who takes people where they don't want to go because of a plethora of issues. Might be, I'm not feeling like it today, or this is uncomfortable for me. But at the end of the day, your growth is where that discomfort is. And a leader is one who inspires people to get out of that comfort zone and grow.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
All right, puts quite well, you know. So leadership is about servant leadership. It's actually serving the people, and we've gotten this all wrong when we look at the country and how it's being led, you know. And if we can debunk that, then it can help a lot. And why is it important for young people to be involved in such, you know, in such clubs, in such organizations as this? How does it even help the country in the long run?
I'd say it changes your mentality. It changes how you view things, how you move, how you even interpret things in your workplace. If you're working, if you're in school like I am, it teaches you how to be a better person for yourself and for people around you. So leadership doesn't basically mean, you know, you think of a leader, you think of this higher being, higher person that you need to report to, do this, do that. No, for leadership, actually, what Toastmasters has taught us, and for me, is that you're basically just shutting yourself off a bit, so that you get to learn, you get to grow, and from that, it interprets itself in so many different ways. And you don't need people to tell you, they'll just see it. It comes naturally, actually.
Natural. All right. And what's the impact of nurturing leadership, especially among young people? Let me ask you.
Let's even break it down into the statistics, yeah? From the last census, 80% of the population in this country is under 35. That is youth. That is a tremendously large labor force and a tremendously large voice. Now, if you can communicate well, or if 80% of those people can speak with one voice, transformation stops being just an ideal. We actually have something tangible to work with and look at it like, hey, wait a minute. As the youth, we have the biggest stake in our future, and there's something we can do about it. And to bring that closer to Toastmasters, so we have 2 meetings a month. And it's an environment where, ideally, it starts with you giving speeches. And this is something I realized, and also something that the founder said, that the more speeches you give, the more you learn about yourself.
How so?
Because the first speech you write, in such a sense that you introduce yourself to the club. And your speeches are about your experiences. So for you to transfer that from your mind to a piece of paper and then articulate it, you start realizing, okay, this is how I feel in front of a crowd. Or that experience meant this to me. Or people are responding to this. We have this much in common. My vulnerability and your vulnerability are the same. Our lived experiences are similar. Slowly, bit by bit, now you start building a community around you. And if you start moving together with that community, it starts in the club, it goes to home, it goes to school, it goes to the workplace.
You create that effect everywhere you go.
It's a domino effect, precisely, yes.
Ah, all right, wonderful. And now, the structure of Toastmaster, maybe you can tell us a little bit deeper into it. What you said that it brings out the communication. Communication is an integral part in leadership, right? So for some, they have the leadership in them. Now, bringing the communication, the public speaking is a problem. They're too shy to articulate their thoughts, all that. And many people have that issue, self-doubt and all that. So how do you counter that? Let me start with you before getting.
I can speak the whole day about that topic.
Right.
But with conquering, as you said, that's the imposter syndrome in us. Something I really appreciate about Toastmasters is their access to mentorship programs. So you have, when you ideally join a club, you're given a mentor for free. A mentor walks with you, and the first thing that a mentor should ask you is, what's your goal for Toastmasters? Why did you join the club? If you join the club for conquering public speaking fears, your fears talking in front of a crowd, whether it's you're here to network, whether you're here to just have fun, or whether you're here to get a certificate that you can use for your workplace or to further your leadership skills moving forward. Something about Toastmasters, the mentoring program really helps you become vulnerable, as he said. It teaches you how to open up yourself, because I feel like most people, we shut off a lot of ourselves. You say that many of us do have that leadership spirit in us, but we are afraid of, we don't know how to bring it out. Yes, we don't know how to express it. But being in Toastmasters, we have some have weekly meetings, some meet twice in a month. And if you're really there for the right reasons, you'll take advantage of every single club meeting that we have. You'd be the first to say, I want to give a speech this evening. I want to do this today. I want to give a keynote speech, for example. Something that really...
Just given hers as well, actually.
Something that you want to train your mind to just kill that imposter syndrome that we all have in us.
So you have that, it creates that safe space for you to do that.
That's one of the taglines we use to market Toastmasters.
Okay.
It's a learning by doing in a safe space, and it's self-paced.
All right.
So once you join, the pathway is a curriculum based. It bounces off what you give in. So for her, if we pick the same path to start with presentation mastery, because you want to communicate ideas, there are those who pick persuasive influence because they want to be marketers.
All right.
And there are those who will pick others like engaging humor, because sometimes the best messages are told when you're making people laugh, precisely. And innovative planning, dynamic leadership. And can you imagine a space where you get to do that twice a month? Literally, there's nowhere else where someone will give you the time and you'll have an audience that you stand before and work on that.
Does the audience help you, critique you? Do you get feedback? What happens in that?
Yes, there's actually a segment in our meetings where we call the evaluations and feedback segment, where you get constructive criticism from your fellow members. And we do this with the, what's the method?
Sandwich method.
Yeah, the sandwich method, where you start with the positive, go to the areas of improvement, then you finish it off with the positives again.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes. So the good stuff, but you also get the things that you need to improve on, so that you're not just on the same level. You get to improve
You need
at
to
the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, embarrassment is the cost of entry.
Okay.
So your first speech, you'll stutter, you'll flutter, but then once the feedback, or ideally the aim of the feedback, is not to discourage you from speaking again, but it's to motivate you to want to speak again. And that is the essence behind the evaluation session. In fact, you learn more from evaluating than from giving your speeches.
All right. So it's a good, I love it already. You know, for people, some people, especially the introverts, they think communication is not my strongest suit. So I'd rather have someone, you know, because I've dealt with startups and founders. Some are good at what they do, they're really good, but they'd rather have someone do the communication for them. But why is it important? Why is communication key? Even if you don't think you're an extrovert, you don't think you want to be on platforms and everything, what is that thing about communication that you think is really key? Anyone of you can answer.
Yes, so communication is, I say it's like daily bread. It needs to be there for any living being. You need to know how to communicate. If you're sad, you need to know how to express that. If you're happy, you need to know how to express that. So with Toastmasters International, what it has done for people like me is knowing how to package yourself in a nice way, or rather not a perfect way, don't get me wrong, but a nice way where you're able to express yourself, express ideas, bring up new innovative ideas from wherever platform that you are, whether you're at work, whether you're at school. I think that communication is important because it makes great leaders. You can't be a leader if you're not communicating.
Okay.
'Cause
Even for those that are running businesses, even if you have a team, you still need to express what your company is about when you meet people. So you need to tell people about it. Either way, you need to know how to
Especially
communicate.
Because then you can even break down the kind of communication you need. If you're running a business, you need to communicate how to get more business. That's one. Two, you need to communicate how you want the business run. So now the communication in the first place is between you, your clients, or you and your clients, and yes, and then the second part is between you and your employees, and then you and your market. See, you can't use the same communication style for all three.
So it's different.
You have to tailor each message for the particular audience you have.
Okay, all right, that's quite clear. Now, you've mentioned that you're in the same, I think you've done the same thing, then there's persuasive.
Yes.
So what are some of the different areas that Toastmaster covers?
Well, okay. There's the typical aspect in the club is first the curriculums, which now are tailored to your real life experience. If you're a marketer, you'll probably go for persuasive influence.
All right.
If you're a teacher, a lecturer, there's a path called effective coaching. Dynamic leadership, again, is for the typical people who are in startups. And then during the year, we also have club competitions, area competitions, division, and then district. So you're split in that manner. So you have clubs, because at the end of the day, yes, you're in a self-paced learning program, but if you want to measure how far you've come in your journey, the best way to do that is competition. And healthy
Competition.
competition.
Okay.
Precisely. And we are just about to get into the competition season. In fact, I'm pretty sure some of the clubs, I'm sure will invite people from the media or anybody who's interested. In fact, we'll extend one to you. Come see what the competition is like. And then that's probably the best way to decide if you want to
Be part
of the club.
the club or not.
Yes,
All right.
because then you see the pinnacle of what people have been working on. And you can see the difference.
Okay.
Someone who started and where they are now, it's clear cut.
You see the transformation.
And it's the most fulfilling part, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. For you, Nicole, what has been your greatest take or the greatest impact that you've received from being in Toastmasters?
confidence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How were you before?
Before, I'm 2.5 years into Toastmasters now. And when I joined, believe it or not, I was a very shy, reserved. I'd always be at the corner. Yes. I actually joined because I wanted to improve how I presented myself in front of people. So with school, when our lecturer would say, who would do a presentation, I never raised my hand. And I knew that this was a problem. I wanted to be able to communicate in front of a class. It's just 20 people. Yeah. If I could do that, or rather improve on that, I will get to 100 and even millions of people in a crowd. So that was my biggest motivation into joining Toastmasters, just improving my communication, my confidence, and basically just who I am as a person. Because the Nicole that was in 2021 isn't the same Nicole that's sitting here today.
All right. Wow. And you can see that because clearly you're confident. So that's good. What about you, Kenyeri?
The biggest takeaway for me has been, at first you join Toastmasters so that you can grow. But then along the way, you start taking ownership of the process and the club. And for me, the transition from it just being about me to now taking on leadership roles where my business, I am in the business of you, and your growth. That is the most fulfilling part.
Wow. Wow, and that's leadership. It shows leadership.
Believe it or not, yeah.
Wow, incredible. And I understand that for someone who wants to join Toastmasters, they're usually given sort of a period. I don't know if it's a period, but you select which club you want to go to. So you can visit one club and then see if you fit in there, you know, if your personality fits in there. So I want to understand how the personality aspect comes in. Like, there's a club, what kind of a personality would you find in this club that you would not find in the other one, or you prefer this one to that one, kind of thing? Any one of you can answer, Nicole? Now that you've been leaders, you have been a leader and you're a leader.
Yeah. Oh, I think each club has its own personality. I can't sit here and say Smart Speak is better than this club, etc. No, it just, I feel like it all comes down to you. If you want to be, for example, my club is Magnetic Toastmasters. If you feel magnetic is where you want to be, then that's where you'll be. I don't think there's a formula on which club you should join, or just because there's a hype to it. It just comes down to what you feel. Do you feel like this is the place for you? And that's why we encourage people to visit multiple clubs and then just reflect on which club really felt like home to you and then go with that.
All right. The clubs, do they meet, do you meet physically? Is it virtual? And then how do you get to know about these clubs? Like, if I want to join Smart Speak, if I want to join yours, how do I know about these clubs before I sign up?
Social media. But the best way to know about a club is word of mouth.
Okay.
If someone visits the club or at work, you see someone presenting in such a manner that it takes you like, wow, okay, I completely understood what they were saying. They held the audience, and then they ask, where did you learn to do that? Oh, I'm a member of Toastmasters. That is the best way to advertise or to market a club. But of course, you still have to put in the work. The social media, the handles, the interviews such as these.
Okay. That's how you get to know about them. And to get into, before you, now, how's the process like? How much is signing up? How's the membership fee like? And all that, Nicole?
I think I'll let him take that.
Okay. It's been thrown back to you.
Okay. It's based on the leadership. So you have your president and you have a vice president membership. So once you visited a club, the vice president membership always notes who are the guests in the club. And after the meeting, they'll have a short word with you. How did you find the meeting? You give us feedback. Would you be interested in joining? And once the VPM has your details, and then I start the process. It's about $60 a year. $60 a year subscription, imagine.
Oh, okay.
You pay up, then you just start. Literally, it's one of those just start, just do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What opportunities does it present being part of Toastmasters? What opportunities have you gotten from it, Nicole? Wow. Okay. All right. So these, apart from this one, the exposure.
The exposure is there for free. There is also opportunities. I'd say you're easily recognized if you're a Toastmaster. So you'd find most media houses reach out to you. If you have Toastmasters in your profile, that's why you see most Toastmasters have segments in the paper. Maybe you were interviewed in this media house and that. Another advantage from Toastmasters is that there is friendship. I'd say that's something that's really underlooked here in Toastmasters. You get to really meet amazing people in Toastmasters. And there's also an aspect in Toastmasters for networking, where you get to interact with different people. For example, I'd meet Karaoke, who is from, say, he's a lawyer. I know a lawyer. You can say that you know a lawyer because you're in Toastmasters with a lawyer. Or if I'm in marketing, you can say I have a friend who's in marketing, Toastmasters. Toastmasters helps you gain different personalities, different friendships, different networks. And you can easily say that, you know people, I know a guy, you know.
I know a guy who can help you with that.
And then also there's some direct benefits from the skills you get. One is Engage was actually born out of Toastmasters. The people who started Engage were Toastmasters.
Wow.
Yeah, Bosira he was a Toastmaster. Two, you get to moderate panels.
Wonderful.
Three, you get keynote speeches. If your particular field or you're interested in sports and fitness and nutrition, and you're good at speaking,
Then you'll get it.
naturally the progression would be that we want someone who can speak on this, this, and that. If you're in finance, and I think we just had a talk about finance in your previous interview.
Yeah.
If someone can articulate, talk about business, talk about finance in such a way that the message is clear and doesn't sound too technical, then who is the person you're going to look for to do that? The Toastmaster in finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you, from this club, you're able to break down communicate, because now I'm seeing you're able to do public speaking, everything that involves communication. So you are impacted these skills on how to be a good communicator, right? How do you, now, it's good if you can be a good communicator. How do you become a good communicator? Maybe just as a tip for those that are watching. And how do you overcome the fear of public speaking, and how do you get out of your comfort zone to be confident in everything that you do? Maybe just in your associations. Maybe you don't want to be out there speaking to people, but just in your associations, in your networking, that you can approach someone and, you know, even in a relationship, that you can approach someone and ask them out. You know, some people have those weaknesses, but this helps. So how do you get to that? Let me start with you, Karaoke.
I'll give you 3 tips. One, practice. Practice, practice, practice. None of these things will happen by magic. 2, write down your thoughts.
All right.
Read, because there's nothing you're going to say or nothing you've ever experienced that has never been experienced before.
Nothing is new.
Nothing is new, and there are probably people who've articulated it much better than you have 50, 100, 150 years ago. And 3, just do it.
All right,
Just
do
it.
Then second guess, just start.
Yeah, just start.
Okay, all right, I like it,
Also
Nicole.
intentionality. Be very intentional on these different things that you want to do. Because you can say you want to be a great communicator and you did it once. You haven't harnessed that skill. You haven't really grasped those nitty-gritties that you need for being a great communicator. So you really need to be intentional with your communication.
All right, I like it as well. Even as we come to a close on this, for those people who go out, who try, who do it anyway, and then they get to a point and then they say, I don't think this is for me, because of maybe a mistake they did when they were speaking, and they felt, I don't know if it happens to everyone, you know, when you speak and then you feel like you made a mistake, and then you go down, you know, down the spiral, and that affects you, and then now you're not confident enough to go back. What would you say to that?
First of all, we are our worst critics. The voice in your head telling you that, oh no, that was horrible, that was horrendous, I'm the worst, I can't do this again. Yeah. Don't give in too much to that. And then you also have to, look, don't be too hard on yourself. Listen, we've all been there. Acknowledge it, yes, I mucked up this time. Realize, what was it, what about this was wrong? Was it my intonation? Was it this? Did I have a nervous tick? Okay, let me go and work on it. Because nothing good or nothing worthwhile is going to be gained by chance, like she said. Work at it, and it's not easy. So for those who are thinking that, yes, you're just going to, day one, you become Vusi Tembekwayo, please, it's not going to happen.
It's a whole journey.
Yeah. It's a whole journey.
Okay, I like it. Thank you.
Embrace it.
So that's a learning point, right? You learn from it, you get better at it. What skills do you think will be necessary when we're thinking about future leadership with everything that's happening? What skills do you see are essential for future leadership?
Resilience, hard work, self-confidence. You can't be a shy leader and expect results from your team. You need to be very confident as a leader because your people see your confidence and they believe in your vision. So if you're not confident, your people will be a bit skeptical on, is this leader really confident in what they're saying? So you have to really have confidence, resilience. You shouldn't be an easy quitter as a leader because hurdles come every single time, and as a leader you need to get those skills on if something comes like this, you're able to dodge it and just find a way to embrace the challenges that come. And hard work, you have to put in the work. Yeah, you can't just, as he said, you can't be a leader overnight. You need to show up every day, show out every day. Yeah, that's how you become
that scare you every time.
Exactly.
Okay.
Jump in the deep end.
All right.
If you can swim.
If you can swim. All right. Karaoke, what is the one key takeaway that you would give to someone starting out in their leadership journey? From you being someone who's in that journey of being a leader, what is that one key takeaway for someone who's just in it now?
Listen. Just listen, because you're not a leader for you. You're a leader for the people who've entrusted you in that role. So don't be too headstrong and think bulldoze, it's my way, my way, my way. No. There's a reason they've entrusted you in that position.
Right.
So listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen. It's very, very key. Now, how can people join Toastmaster? Those that are watching and want to join, how can they be part of it? Nicole?
Let's just say Toastmasters as a whole, or my club.
Any, now that you're here, you can promote yours as well.
Well, for anyone who wants to join Toastmasters International, I'd encourage them to visit the site first, get a brief overview on what Toastmasters is about, understand what you're going into first. Then for Magnetic Toastmasters Club, you can join us. We meet every first Tuesday of the month, which is virtual from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That's virtual. And our third Saturday is physical along Wayaki Way at Karibu Inn from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And anybody...
From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay.
Yes. And anyone and everybody is
Welcome.
welcome to the club.
I love that, even in leadership, you have different personalities. You are a soft one, and then, it's the opposite. But, it's all in, all our leaders. I love it. How can people join yours?
Same thing. Check the website, and I'd advise, look for a club near you, something that's convenient. And I'd reckon we have a meeting next week actually at Parkland Sports Club, Tuesday 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. When you get to Parklands, just ask for where the Toastmasters meeting is, and I will personally walk you to the meeting room, and you can have your experiential learning, and then decide if you want to visit Magnetic next.
Okay. Healthy competition. Key. Do you want to give your social media handles in case people want to reach out directly?
On Instagram, it's Magnetic TMC. Magnetic TMC. LinkedIn, it's Magnetic Toastmasters Club. Also on Twitter, it's Magnetic TMC as well.
Magnetic TMC and LinkedIn Magnetic Toastmasters Club. And yours, Karaoke?
Smart Speak Toastmasters Club on LinkedIn and Smart Speak TMC on Instagram.
All right. Great. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on board and sharing these amazing insights. And now people have a good understanding about Toastmasters. It's one of those clubs that are very famous in Kenya and even internationally. So it's a pleasure to host you. And welcome. I hope you've enjoyed that conversation, and I hope you plan to plug in on that if you want to really improve your leadership and even communication skills. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more after this. We're going to talk about making money when you are in the entertainment space, how branding is like, and all that. So you want to keep it locked right here. See you on the other side.